Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be what if Invincible awakened his powers early. In this story, I'm taking reference from Mark's kid, specifically Marcus, because we don't know how Terra's powers awakened first. That was kind of a spoiler. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go over who their parents are, just so you guys can learn who they are. But this can be kind of just a bloodline example. So spoilers for that. Sorry about not having spoiler warning first. If you have anything to do, games, chores, homework, normal job, or just anything else about like mundane tasks, do those by listening to me. I don't really edit, so there's nothing to watch. Just listen, enjoy, stick around if you want to. Tell me what you like or dislike in the comment section about the video. Go, subscribe. Notifications are optional. And if you don't like my content, you can always unsubscribe later. Now, let's go into the Grayson family bloodline. We first begin with Nolan and his father, Argol. Argol was the leader of the Village Empire before Thrag, but then Thetis killed him by kind of impaling him through the head with a bone. No one knows how a bone did so, but they suspect it could have been a Ragnar bone. But yeah, Argol was killed, but he was 5,000 years old, so he may have been the oldest Viltrumite aside from maybe Conquest and Thrag. As Thrag was around in Argol's era. Like he may be as old as Argol is, he just looks better. Pause. Sorry about that. But then we end up having what else? So after we go to Nolan, we know his story, and then we know he's Debbie, and also Andressa to have his kid Oliver and Mark. So he's Oliver and Mark. Oliver eventually does look more human at some point because Viltrumite DNA is very dominant, kind of overpowers most foreign DNA. But Oliver's I think, but I don't think he lives he was a teenager technically when he died. Hold up. Oliver was a teenager when he dies, but he looks like a full-grown man because he ages faster. I don't even think he was a teenager because he was born when Mark was 18. Tara at the point was 5, but Mark had Tara when he was 20. So yeah, no, Oliver could have been he wasn't even 12 when he died, but he looked like he was in his 20s. So yeah, but then we have Mark, who ends up getting with Eve, and he has his daughter Tara. But then at some point he's outside Earth. While those planets are inhabiting it to repopulate because they're in a truce with the coalition of planets. And then Anissa finds Mark refusing to get with humans, and does something to him that no one should go through. And a few months later, she gives birth to the kid that she names Marcus Sebastian Murphy, or Marcus Sebastian first, then Murphy eventually is his stepfather's last name. Then she basically named him after Mark. There's a different last name. He's almost Mark Jr. But yeah. Now, Tara and Marcus both awaken their powers very early on, or Marky is Marcus's nickname. So Marky and Tara awaken their powers early on. Because, they're not full Viltrumites, and they have a bit of human DNA, but they're 1/4 human. But that kind of just ends up with them 1/3, because it would be 1/3. Because hold up, 3/4 human, 1/4 Viltrumite. So hybrid, yeah. That's Tara, and no, it's just Tara. Marcus is hold up. Marcus Murphy. I guess, yeah, 3/4 Viltrumite, 1/4 human. So Tara and Marcus both have kind of just different, kind of the same but swapped. Now, both awaken the powers early on. Tara awakens flight early on when she's a kid, but Image Comics kind of draws kids weirdly. We don't know how old they would be. They can be anywhere from the ages of 6 to maybe 13. But I think Tara awakened her powers when she was probably 8. or probably not 8, probably like 5. Between like 5 and 7. And then Mark was looking at his powers when he was like 10. Or, no, he'd probably be the same. Yeah. Probably when he was 7 as well. But this one, Mark's making his powers early on, simply because, why not? It'd be an interesting concept. Now, let's begin. I've done this 5 times, something always interrupts it. But we go on to Mark when he's 11 years old. He'd be at the park with Debbie, who is getting him ice cream, while he's sitting on a bench, watching and waiting. While he's watching and waiting, he's just having a jolly old time, tapping his fingers on the bench, all that. Up until something feels odd with him. He starts hearing things. Not the fact of, like, hallucinations. No, like, just hearing conversation over, like, he could barely hear them a little bit. Now they feel like they're happening right in front of him. It's super hearing, but not to a very big degree. It's just, like, not like he can hear the entire park or the world. No, he just hears, like, within his immediate vicinity. Like, if it's within hearing distance, now it's even closer, and things that were outside hearing distance are now a bit closer. So kind of just, like, everything within the mile, he now hears in more detail. Mark covered his ears, trying to walk away, thinking that something odd was just happening to him. But then his muscles began to ache, as if he worked out really hard. He began running off, up until he took one step too hard, and that was more like a lunge, where he lunged himself through the sky. He tried to fall through a few trees, across a building, and was flying across the skyline, not knowing what to do. Cops were called for property damage, someone destroying a building. They shoot at him, bullets on off his skin, because, Viltrumite. But at some point, Nolan was called by Debbie, and he finds Mark in the sky, crying, trying to descend. Mark just tells Dad, I don't know how to stop it, I don't know what's happening. But Nolan just says, it's okay, you wasted your powers early on, this doesn't happen much, but I can help you. He tucks Mark around his cape, tells him to hold on, and flies off to the house so Mark can relax somewhere he's comfortable in. Now we fast forward to a training montage. Or the initial training montage, Mark learning to control his powers. Mark is on a roof. Nolan is looking at him, and he crosses his arms, looks back at Mark, and tells him, just push off, control your momentum, and go from there. Mark hesitantly jumped off the roof, as he knows if he falls, he'll crash land, but he'll be fine. But as soon as Mark tries to control it, immediately when he started thinking about the fact he crashed through a tree face first. It didn't hurt, but now he has wood splinters up his nose, mouth, and eyes, which is very uncomfortable to have. Nolan just groaned, dusting off Mark, flew back up to the roof, and just says, again. Then, combat practice. Nolan brought Mark up to a mountain, found a few boulders, put one in front of Mark, and said, watch this. Nolan took a stance, punched the boulder, and blew it to pieces, or mostly dust with a few big chunks thrown in. He got another one, pushed it to where Nolan's boulder was, and tells Mark to do the same thing. Mark did so with a bit of sloppier footwork, but other than that, the punch performance was actually pretty good, just needs more improved footwork. He didn't blow apart the rock like Nolan did, but there's a giant crack in it. And after a bit of, Mark just poked it a little bit, and the rock was kind of split in half. So, he split in half with the punch, but he didn't demolish it. I forgot I heard my computer. But yeah. Then, Nolan needs to do more Mark footwork to actually punch the boulder to pieces. It hurt his hand a little bit, but he did it. Next. Suit creation. Mark stands in front of a mirror, looking at sketches of potential hero suits. And Art is busy finishing off a design for one of them. But Mark said this is the suit he wanted. He's just letting Mark look at a few more in case he wants to change the suit design somewhere down the road. Because, he's 11. He's probably going to want to change a little bit. But Mark's suit is the Omni-kid suit. Or Kid Omni-Man. Very similar to Oliver, but, different name and color scheme and person wearing it. Basically, this is basically a little bit like Oliver, barely Oliver's suit. Same initial look, but different color scheme. So Mark calls himself Omni-kid. Where Oliver's suit has the red and yellow. I should pull up Oliver's suit. I shouldn't close his wiki page. So yeah. We have Oliver's suit being like red and yellow up top. No, that's going to be like the red's white. The red is replaced with white. The yellow is replaced with red, and then the black can stay. But the gloves are going to be black, and so are the boots. Maybe the domino mask can stay though. So yeah. That's the scene I'm not going to cover. Scene 4. Scene 5 is replaced to scene 4. Alright. So, Mark is flying around with Nolan, and Mark is, Nolan hears a flashback to Debbie telling him he either fights with you or not at all. He's too young to be a hero alone. So now, Nolan, or Omni-Man, has a sidekick called Omni-kid. Fast forward a year later. At just 12 years old, Mark had fought side by side with the Guardians of the Globe, learning from the best. But he wasn't the best at keeping secrets. In the middle of battle, Mark was actually dodging a fist from one of the Mauler twins, punches them away. But then they teamed with another villain group, because, heavy paycheck, and one of them was swatting at him with a very energy-powered weapon. It would have hurt. It would have stung Mark, because it does. Mark's a kid, his powers aren't fully developed. And then she yelled, "Dad! Omni-Man, help!" The Guardian had a pause, not immortal, he's just looking at Mark a bit confused, he's punching one of the Maulers in the face. Nolan, his size, appears to point at Mark, taking the attack for him, for swatting the random fought villain out of the way. And he says, "We'll talk about this when we get home." Guardians weren't even surprised, to be honest. They kind of found it weird that he only kind of kid with the same power set as him. It kind of just made sense. They were worried he couldn't kidnap a random kid. Now, the Guardians actually take on a mentor-like figure for him. Take on mentor-like figures for Mark. I'm going to go over how they influence him overall. The Immortal. Mark is nowhere near as strong as the Immortal at this point in time. He is not. The Immortal would body him pretty effortlessly, honestly. Mark is inexperienced. All he really has is that he's pretty durable, pretty comparable in terms of durability, but in terms of strength, speed, like Mauler, the Mauler level. Or faster than the Maulers, but not immortal. So, Mark wasn't anywhere near as strong as full of the Viltrumite. Only Nolan knew that, though. But the Immortal, they had actually helped Mark a little bit. As she does so, Mark, you need to control your strength a little bit more. You're kind of sending villains flying through, city blocks in one punch. You shouldn't do that. You might kill someone. Also, she tells Mark you need finesse. You can't just be a big punch-and-done hero. Well, your father, he's been doing this for years. People grew to love him. You're a kid who's been doing this for a few months, maybe. You can't get that level of fame instantly. If you want fame, finesse, control, PR. He was the first hero. He's going to teach Mark a few things about PR. And he tells Mark, there's no jokes about mass destruction, playing villains, losers on live TV. For the love of all things holy, do not say anything you would not want on the internet. As he flashed to the Immortal, letting it slip that he was Abraham Lincoln at some point. So, yeah. Now, Aquarius. Balance of heroism and life. Aquarius was a bored king. Yeah, he had a wife and he was, the king of Atlantis. That wasn't all he wanted from life. He wanted fun, he wanted adventure. That's why he's a guardian. But he told Mark, young man, you need to have fun. You're saving people, but don't forget, you're a person yourself. You can't save people if you can't save yourself from your own, trouble. Mark took that to heart and made sure that being a hero wouldn't steal away being a kid. As he's always told, enjoy being a kid. Darkwing. With Darkwing, he wasn't really a very hands-on guy, but whenever Mark's on training at the Guardians HQ, because he was just there working overtime, he got training dummy, and Mark actually asked him hey, can you help me? As no one would just be there to actually pick up details on the case he was working. And Mark was also a big fan of the Guardians, so he'd kind of stop by whenever he wanted to, as long as the Guardians gave him the okay. He'd buzz in and let him in. So, yeah. And Darkwing actually been helping Mark learn, hand-to-hand combat, giving him the basics and rundown. Mark even flew to Midnight City sometimes, and she just watch and learn. Because he's also pretty good friends with Darkwing's protege before he becomes insane. So, yeah. Pause. Sorry about that. Green Ghost. He's never really a direct mentor, but she's a lot like, kind of just a cool aunt to him. He tells him he needs to have more confidence in battle. He can't get scared and call for Omni-Man. Omni-Man will always be there. But she teaches Mark to stand his own ground. Martian Man. Importance of hard work and kindness. Martian Man is alone on Earth. All he has to benefit himself is being kind to people, and he tries his best to do so, and he does well. So him and Mark are actually pretty good friends because all he does is make sure that Mark knows he needs to be kind. People don't want someone who's just going to tell them to go away and make the fighting. No, people who will reassure them they will be okay. People who will reassure them and that, like, I will save you, you will be fine, nothing bad will happen to you. That's what people want out of a hero. So Mark is taught that. Then, Red Rush. Red Rush's wife, Olga, was a close friend of Debbie's, so he was around often. Or, Olga was around, Red Rush just had to tag along because Olga would make him. Red Rush sees everything in very slow perception, because, super speed, super perception. But Mark, well, he has super speed as well, not as fast as Red Rush, but he actually can speed up his vocal ability a little bit, so he can talk a bit faster than normal. And Red Rush is able to talk with Mark pretty efficiently. So, this is Olga's surprise, Red Rush stays in one place to talk to Mark. So, Red Rush wasn't like the Mark was going too slow, no, it's like he was stuttering a lot, that's kind of all there was. Because, Mark doesn't speak fast usually. But Red Rush was actually happy that he could stick around with someone and they could talk to him on a level he'd be okay with. Now, Black Samson. Despite being closer in age to Debbie than Mark, Samson was a lot like a grandfather to Mark. As we flash back to him saying, listen boy, I don't care if you can punch through walls, fly through buildings. If you don't think before you act, you're a liability and you will get yourself hurt. Mark kind of got bored, felt like he was being lectured by an old man, and just said, yeah, sure, Gramps. Then went to walk away. But he knew he was right. He shouldn't want to be around Samson. Samson's kind of annoying to him. And War Woman. War Woman treated Mark with respect like an actual warrior, but she also reminded him he is a child. So, yeah, she was kind of the one who kept him in place, but told him, even if you're a kid, you are still a good warrior. Now, all these influences wasn't just Omni-Man. After all these influences, Mark wasn't just Omni-Man's son anymore. He was Omni-kid, a hero in his own right, a hero the public loved, a guy who was on t-shirts. Mark was genuinely striking out to be his own hero, at least publicly. People thought of him as an independent hero, not just Omni-Man's sidekick anymore, because he was taking lessons to heart and using them. But I'm going to end this part here. Next part, we'll cover how Mark meets Adam Eve when he is a kid. Going with that, you want from part 2? Let's say like 5 likes, I guess. I don't have high expectations anymore. 5 likes, or at least comment like 5 individual different comments saying part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.